Hello everyone, Shinto Bean here, discussing some more Warhammer combat cards, continuing this series, talking about the best and worst cards in the game, and I'll be focusing on Tau in this video with 62 bodyguards, one of the smaller factions, and certainly the faction with the least variety, because of Tau's obsession with ranged warfare and lack of psychers. Looking at the Warlords, I think Darkstrider and Shazo Relay are definitely two of the strongest Warlords, just because they're able to deal a lot more range damage, improving what Tau already excel at. Supreme Commander Shadowsun has a bit of a more restrictive play style and also might not be the strongest in ranked, but with 400 points, it's pretty ridiculous what that Warlord can do. The other three Warlords, Shadowsun and Farsight, have a strong endgame, but their special rule doesn't come into play until the very last card deploys, so it's just not as good. Aunva has a really fun special rule. The downside to him is that it does absolutely nothing against Psychers, and yeah, that's actually a pretty major problem. Now starting off, I'm just going to showcase the two Lords of War because they are both extremely powerful. Both of them can dish out massive damage, the Storm Surge with Barrage, the Supremacy Armor with Big Game Hunter, and they also both have defensive traits, Fear and Shields, making them extremely deadly. I think the Storm Surge is more powerful overall, but the Supremacy Armor definitely is useful in 400 point game modes. Now Tau have a lot of ranged units, so I'm splitting it into two sections here. The first section is just units that have a ranged attack and no other attack types. The top 5 are mostly aircraft. In first place we got Long Strike, the legendary and extremely powerful card that did have to be nerfed, but still very strong with a big precision shot and inspiring presence to boost your overall firepower. Next up is the Sunshark Bomber with Barrage and Range Scout as its secondary. Also capable of dishing out massive damage. It has definitely more damage to the points cost than the more expensive Barracuda. In third place, the Skyray Gunship also has excellent stats, a bit more health than the Bomber. It's got Big Game Hunter and then Outflank for its secondary. In third place, the Cold Star Battlesuit was pretty weak for a while, just mainly good at absorbing damage, but its traits are not as good, with Outflank being the primary and Regeneration as the secondary, but it does have excellent stats for its cost. So at the moment, definitely worth using. And in fifth place, we got a cheaper option, the Piranha, which can just give you an immediate boost to your ranged attack through the Scout and Outflank. Next up, we got hybrid cards, which have a melee attack in addition to their ranged attack. For the Kroots, they often prefer going melee to ranged. And then you got the battle suits, but I think if you're running the strongest Warlords, Darkstrider or Shazo Relay, I think the aircraft tend to do better than the battle suits, so I'm not including too many of them in the top cards here. But in first place, we do have a really good battle suit in the form of Commander Kalduri, who has Inspiring Presence and Ranged Scout, and just really amazing stats for a 30-point card. Second place, we got a pretty new legendary, the Kroot Lone Spear, which excels at melee in addition to ranged, as it got Big Game Hunter and Target Acquired, and quite a bit of health for its cost. It's just below the 40-point threshold, so it can avoid the Big Game Hunters. In third place, we got a tanky option with the XV9 Battlesuit with Shields. This is just a solid card if you need a little bit more defense, which in general, Tau cards don't really have a whole lot of defensive traits. In fourth place, the Krutox Rider is a really fun option. I especially like using that one with Aunva, just because you get double the buff to its attack stats and it can get really massive. It can be decent with Commander Farsight as well, who can heal it up at the end. And then in fifth place, we got another pretty new one, the Kroot Trail Shaper, with Outflank as its primary and Inspiring Presence as its secondary. Just really powerful stats. Now, if you're going melee with Tau, there's probably something wrong with that picture, but I'm just going to do a little spiel on them anyway. In first place, Aun Shi is actually quite ridiculous. Lots of health, extremely tanky with the shields, Inspiring Presence, and a massive melee attack. If this card existed in any other faction, it would probably be broken, but because it's Tau, it's just whatever. Still pretty funny to see that thing at the max level, though. In second place, if you do want to go melee, the Long Quill, previously known as the just Kroot Shaper. With Melee Scout, it can give you a big boost to your next melee attack. It's a nice one to include. The Flesh Shaper is a pretty new one. I don't have it at a high level myself, but it is a mid-cost healer. And in fourth, we've got the epic Honored Aun Kais with Inspiring Presence as the primary and Medicae is the secondary, which is an interesting set of traits. If you are running Aunshi, they kind of overlap, so there's probably no point in running both of them. Fifth place, we got the Krutox Rampager with Furious Charge. And then we got the support units. These are definitely essential for most decks. And first place, we've got the 6-point Medic. Obviously, as a cheap healer, very valuable. We got the 2 drones, the Stealth Drone and Shield Drone. Both have Taunt and both have pretty much identical stats. The only difference really is their Ready type, but both are very useful. And the next cheapest Taunt card is the 10-point Ethereal Guard with a melee attack. With Dark Strider, these are particularly good, so I do run all 3 of them, usually. Otherwise, I tend to just go with one of the drones. And then 5th place, this one has pretty low health for an Inspiring Presence card, but the Kill Broker packs a real punch for that cost. Again, with the Tau roster being very limited in terms of attack type, they also don't have much variety in traits, meaning there's a lot of cards with overlapping roles, and a lot of redundant, kind of useless cards. So this is just a collection of them. One thing I do want to focus on here is you'll notice that there are 5 cards with target acquired, and there are actually more than this. These ones are particularly bad, I think. If you do really want to run target acquired, I would advise using this Sniper Drone, which is just 8 points and has a higher ranged attack for its point cost than any of these options. But yeah, that's a quick rundown of the Tau faction in a nutshell. Let me know if I missed anything, but that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.